Hello, Turdville. We're going to call this Connect the Dots and video number 11. I know it's been a few weeks since I actually checked in with you guys, and just got a message on my last video reminding me that it's been too long. Thank you, Peckerhead, for sending that. Anyway, I've been reading the forum on dots, and not real happy with where it's going. There aren't any dots to connect. You're all basically yelling at each other about a bunch of irrelevant crap like who's a troll, who's being paid, and all kinds of crap. And I'm just not into that thing, so that's kind of why I haven't been posting. But for those of you who are interested, and I know many of you have expressed such interest, I've been doing my own thing. I've been working on one project after another, most of it for other people, getting paid real good for it. In fact, I just went out and collected some pay today, and that was good. It was a very profitable week, although it was very backbreaking. I put in a lot of hours. In between those hours, I've been working on my little project here, which has made a few changes since the last time I updated that, and I want to point out a few of them to you. These are my capacitor banks, okay? What I did is basically, I could show you one, is I used flashing and put them between layers of Lexan with epoxy. Each one is about, well, exactly 8 plates. So if you added them up, there's another one on the far side. I've got 16 plates and 18 pieces of Lexan all epoxy together and mounted on each end. Yay. So then I'm going to show you the other side. I've made a few other additions. This is the oil burner ignition transformer, which I added a couple of diodes in here and a couple of capacitors. Over here I've got a power inverter that takes it from 12 volts to 120 volts, and then I added the diodes to make it all one direction DC, and I capture a collapsing field with the capacitors, and what I wind up with is 10,000 volts with a pulsing DC. Now for some little experimentation here. Oh, let's see. It goes right through the glass. That shouldn't happen. At any rate, I made a spinning spark gap. This is another piece of Lexan, and it's got the little copper pieces of wire that I drilled and basically pressed into place. And that works just by, I mounted another drill switch, and it has a Power Wheels motor, and the whole thing spins. And let's see, when I put on the electricity, we get the spark. Now my battery is actually getting a little weak. That's what I've decided. I gotta charge it up. But we've got the voltage right there. Now if I power it down, I had these things set up like a Jacob's ladder, and that was really cool, and putting out all kinds of spark. But what I have noticed, bring it up here, is that all I have is 60 cycles a second, and to actually tap the radiant energy, what I have to do is get that up into the range of 6,000 cycles a second, if we want to go by the standards of, let's say, the Ed Gray motor. And what I've decided to do is scrap these components, the inverter and the oil burner transformer, and go for a television flyback, because I can find the circuitry to take 12 volts up to about 30,000 volts. I haven't been able to figure out how to raise the cycles per second on an oil burner transformer. I'm sure that there's ways to do that, but going from 12 volts to 10,000, I'm stuck in the 60 cycles, and I need to get to 6,000 at least. See my cat? His name is Kirk. He's a good cat, but he wants to go out. Okay, come on, keep going, keep going. Yeah. Alright, anyway. So anyway, that's the update with this. I just wanted to show you what I've built and where I'm going with it. What I did actually successfully last night is I did try the hairpin circuit, which was something that I was going with, and managed to jump the outputs of my capacitors with this light bulb. And what I was actually getting was a huge spark across. Except I'm not getting it right now. Ooh! Check this out. Check out the light bulb. Alright. Now my problem is if you go wide angle, my inverter keeps cutting in and out. When it actually buzzes and it makes the arc across those contacts, yeah, we get that cycling now. Now you can see in my light bulb, notice only one end of this is actually connected to the capacitor. And I'm getting the arcing inside the light bulb, which is all very fascinating. I plan on making this a lot more, you know, dependable, and I should be able to get this light bulb to light brightly, permanently. But, like I said, I'm having some minor technical glitches here. So some of this needs to be redesigned. I know where I'm going with this, though. Okay, so now here's the idea. I went a little bit more into the whole Ed Gray. The whole thing here was originally on a website with Smith's, Don Smith. You can look it up. And he came up with a whole bunch of circuits that were over unity. And he said that these are actually being made in Russia. And he's got, you know, the stuff on his site. What I've figured out is that this was basically supposed to be like an over unity generator, or a something that defeats Lund's law by its creation, by its configuration. What I found in my own experiments is that the primary coils do put out about 12 volts if you can get it up to speed. Not enough current though to actually run the motor and close the loop. And from his drawings, the inside coils are supposed to drive the outside coils and put out something like 5 kilowatts of power. Now, what I'm thinking is that we've got to get the radiant energy first, pulsed using the wheel through the capacitors, and then there's something called Gray's tube. In other words, Ed Gray, he ran this 80 horsepower engine with, or electric motor basically, with no electrical input at all. He had the battery that never went dead, and this motor would run indefinitely. Well, I'm trying to recreate this one part at a time. It wasn't the motor that did anything. It was what they call Gray's tube that converted the radiant energy, which was the high voltage at 6,000 cycles per second, and then turned that into usable electricity. I'm trying to duplicate that every step of the way. So I've got everything but the collector. Like I said, this isn't working out. I'm experimenting because it's only 60 cycles, and I haven't figured out how to get this to run at 6,000 cycles. So I'm going to go with a whole different setup. So next time you see this, it'll look a little different. Alright, but that's where we're going with it. As you can see, I even added another drill switch over here, which is my variable speed. I've still got the variable speed for the big wheel. Oops, let's see. So what I'm going to have now is the wheel for the spark, and then I got the big wheel in here. If you remember the neodymium magnet powder and everything in there. And when I bring that up to speed, that should actually drive all of these coils into resonance. Yeah, that's the big powder. Unfortunately, it's a little loud. I can get it up to speed. I have to charge the battery. I've been running experiments like for hours and hours off this battery, and I haven't actually put any juice back into it yet. Another issue that I'm having, if you look at this real close, my wheel's wobbling. Somehow it's actually gotten warped. It's got a little bit of a warp now, and it flattens out if I get it up to speed. But I might have to take this puppy apart and either straighten out that rotor or make another one. So that's where I'm at with that. But I wanted you guys to know that I'm still working on it. Anyway, back to world affairs and just a thing. I'm still reading dots every day, and like I said, it's not worth commenting on, so I'm not going to. But doesn't mean I won't contribute when I have time and discuss things that are of interest to me, and I just showed you what I'm finding interesting right now. I listened to Jim Willie this week. His latest offering was a 2-hour with Finance and Liberty, and it was awesome. He did the best hair on the federal government I think I've heard him do yet. Well, a whole bunch of conspiracy theories in. And I know not everybody's into Jim Willie, but I am, and I, think he's painting a pretty accurate picture of where this is all headed. Also, paying attention to Jade Helm. I think that's going to turn into a real fiasco. Alright, we're trying a new experiment tonight. Little Fix was helping with the camera work before, and the memory card just filled up, and now I'm going to try to splice the rest of this on my MacBook and see what happens. So anyway, just to conclude, paying attention to the world events, and looks like we got a little bit of time, but the government is basically closing all the exits and setting up an epic disaster. Pretty much all the stuff we've been talking about for the last couple of years. It's just kind of plodding along, so there's not much to talk about there, is there? So anyway, just wanted to say hi and show you what I've been up to, and keep it cool. Clean it up a little bit. Put a little bit more, information. I'm still watching, Dave Hodges Freak Out the World and Steve Quayle. I'm still paying attention to Jim Willie and Turd. And Dots. I still read Zero Hedge. I still look at Alex Jones' site, and see what the InfoWars are up to. And I find it all fascinating. I listen to the radio sometimes when I'm at work, and watch the cluelessness that's being, espoused on humanity. But, mainly today, just went for a nice ride with the top down in the Cadillac, and that was, really nice. I really need to take more time to do that. So, and the important things. That's what's important. All right? So anyway, signing off for now. Take care. Bye-bye.